One of the most watched congressional races in America is here in Atlanta's suburbs.
This week, CNN ranked Georgia's 7th district as most likely to flip from Republican to Democrat in November, as Republican Congressman Rob Woodall retires. 11 Alive's Doug Richards takes a closer look.
This is a race where Republicans are trying really hard to prevent a district that supported Hillary Clinton 4 years ago from electing a Democrat next month. Republican Rich McCormick's campaign pages are full of tough guy videos, showing him doing push-ups with his volunteers, showing him doing push-ups while upside down, depicting him playing rugby against hapless opponents. He is an emergency room physician and an ex-Marine who backs President Trump and his handling of the pandemic.
I think the resources have always been there. I think we've provided enormous resources to the public. And then we pushed it down to state control. I was student body president at Morehouse School of Medicine.
Yet during a debate last week, McCormick never mentioned President Trump as he faced off against Democrat Carolyn Bourdeaux.
And we are out here today.
Bourdeaux nearly won the congressional seat 2 years ago. She campaigned near an early voting site in Gwinnett today, a county that supported Democrat Stacey Abrams 2 years ago. And she says the pandemic is the top issue with voters.
There has just been this concerted effort by both the president and my opponent to downplay this pandemic. And now we have 220,000 Americans who are dead because of it.
This week, Republican Marjorie Greene endorsed McCormick in a tweet. Greene is the unopposed Republican candidate for Congress in Northwest Georgia who has talked up a shadowy right-wing entity called QAnon. Unlike Senator Kelly Loeffler, McCormick did not engineer a press conference announcing Greene's support. Bourdeaux says he didn't have to.
This was coordinated, and this was an effort to kind of dog whistle to those voters.
As far as QAnon, I don't really know what that means. I'm not sure. I don't follow what Marjorie does, nor do I follow what any other congressman does, really.
You've appeared a couple of times on a YouTube channel called the Patriot Soapbox, which has reportedly had ties to QAnon.
Everybody says it's this thing, it's a conspiracy theory, but I kind of laugh because I think it's a conspiracy theory to think that because I appeared on a radio station that I support something that I don't even understand.
Well, it's pretty clear that their ideas are very closely aligned.
When I asked both candidates in the race which of them is the underdog, neither one of them would answer. That's how close they think it is.